Wholesome Joe. Welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to do something just a little different than normal. Now, I don't know if I've told you this before, but I just so happen to be an independent filmmaker. I'm also an actor, but I'm mostly an independent filmmaker, and I've made a couple of feature films over the years. Most of them are horror, some of them are comedy. I have one coming out very soon that is a comedy called The Marks that is about backyard wrestling and pro wrestling in the South. Now, sometimes when it's really late at night, I like to go on Amazon Prime and read reviews for my movies. And one of the movies that is currently on Amazon Prime is called Ghost Witch, which is the title that the distributor gave it when it was released back in 2016. It is a supernatural horror film starring Chase Stephen Anderson and Mandy Christine Kerr. You may have seen those actors in other projects such as The Walking Dead and Dwight in Shining Armor, amongst other really awesome popular shows. They've come a long way since doing My Really Tiny Horror Movie all of those years ago. Now, so sometimes I like to see if there are new reviews on my movie, and it's kind of humorous to read the reviews because most of them honestly are very negative. People have a tendency to be really mean and aggressive in terms of their opinions on things, especially online and especially with movies. I don't know why this is, but as the director and the editor and the writer of the movie, it is quite humorous to read the thoughts and opinions of people on the internet who have, I guess, watched the movie, or maybe they watched some of it. I'm not entirely sure. I don't want this video to be super long, so I'm going to try to keep it to the point, but I would like to give you a little backstory behind the movie itself. So, in 2012, I wrote, produced, directed, acted, and edited a feature horror movie called The Legend of Seven-Toe Maggie, which I personally think is a much better title than Ghost Witch. You can be the judge of that. Let me know in the comments below which title that you prefer. Now, the movie is based on a local urban legend from where I am from, in Cordele, Georgia, about a ghost whose name happens to be Seven-Toe Maggie. Now, the reason why she is called Seven-Toe Maggie is because there is a church in that town called Seven-Toe, or it's on a road called Seven-Toe Road. It is a real street. I have actually been to the actual location where there is a very tall, very small, one-room church. I believe it is still in operation, and I think they have like small get-togethers and maybe family reunions and things like that there. But otherwise, the church is kind of secluded and is supposedly haunted. One of the many stories that you will hear is that if you drive around the church 7 times, really weird things will happen. And if you go inside the church and try to remove the Bible that is on the podium inside the church, the Bible will become so heavy that you are unable to remove it. I actually went there, and there were indeed tire tracks around the church where I guess people people have tried to go and see if these stories are true at all, and they've driven around the church. It is a very creepy location. There's moss hanging from the trees, and there are a bunch of urban legends associated with the church. There's different stories depending on who you ask. Most of them revolve around the idea that a Native American woman or person was perhaps killed or tortured, or other such horrible things happened to this person on the church grounds or inside the church. And depending on who you ask, there are hundreds of variations of this particular story. So we thought it would be a good idea to do a horror movie based on this local urban legend, because that way we could involve the community, and it would be something they would already be familiar with. Now, we did not actually shoot at the church. We actually shot in a really old, abandoned 2-story Victorian house in another town that was very close by, Sycamore, Georgia, which is where I grew up. And supposedly that house is also haunted, which is a whole nother story in itself. And as you'll understand when I start to read some of these reviews, a lot of people were unhappy with the fact that we didn't actually shoot at the church, because the legend that most people know revolves around the church. But because of the nature of making movies and them needing to be interesting and engaging, a one-room church did not seem like the appropriate location for a 2-hour movie. It would be kind of boring. So we decided to take some creative liberties and go a slightly different direction, which some people did not like that we did that. So I don't want to go into too much more details. If you want to watch the movie, it's available on Amazon Prime under the name Ghost Witch. It is also available to watch on Tubi for free. If you want to buy the DVD, which I have here, if you do a Google search for Ghost Witch, you will be able to find that at most retailers online. I will not get any money from it because our distributor sucks, and much like most independent filmmakers, we've been pretty much screwed over by our distributor, but that's a whole nother thing. But if you like watching really cheesy B horror movies, then this might be for you. And I'm sorry, I just knocked my microphone. So with all of that being said, let's read some Amazon reviews, shall we? So I've already got them pulled up on my phone, so I'm just gonna go ahead. My phone is terrible. Also, I apologize for my quarantine beard. I'm preparing for the next Lord of the Rings movie whenever that happens. So, we're just gonna go through these. Some of them will be positive, some of them will be negative. And remember, I directed this, so all of these comments are going to be very personal to me, and I will try to react as if I'm reading them for the first time. So, let's begin. So, the very first review is a 1-star review from a user named Dep, spelled D-E-P. He says, or they say, I tried. I swear I tried to get into this movie and not dislike, but the acting is awful. I got that feeling from the beginning that the acting was going to be bad, but it was worse than I thought it would be as the movie progressed. I mean, wow. This was so bad that it makes me wish there was a 0-star rating I could give this movie. A 0-star rating. awesome. I'm very sorry that you thought the acting was bad. A lot of the actors were very new at the time, and when you're making a low-budget movie, sometimes you have to use actors who may not be quite as skilled. But a lot of them have gone on to do much bigger things, and I'm very proud of that. Okay. Moving on. Nightbird Flea 97 says, well, gives it 1 star and says, boring, boring, boring. 3 people found this review helpful. Next, Love That Boo, that's their username, also gave it a 1-star review and says, not worth seeing. I should have not given it a star. Too easy to know what was going on, what was going to happen next. Actors need to work on acting skills. It could have been so much better if they would have tried harder. This review would have been so much better if you had tried harder to form a complete sentence, sir or ma'am. An Amazon customer gave it 3 stars. 3 stars, that's not bad. Better than I expected, though the title and description are misleading. I don't disagree with that. Yes, this is a low-budget, independent film, and it had issues, but I enjoyed it anyway. Originally titled The Legend of Seven-Toe Maggie, that was the title we gave it. I watched it because my dear friend Josh played the part of Ben. Josh Sinyard is who they're talking about. He's one of the actors in the movie. But I have seen worse movies by far. I have as well. I wish they had gone into more detail about Maggie's background and the supposed attack on Maggie that was alluded to. Still, a nice, creepy little flick. That was not a bad review. Thank you so much, whoever you are. Next is a review from a user by the name of Herminator. They gave it 5 stars. This is probably someone I know, honestly. They said, really good. I don't know why the bad reviews. Me either. This was excellent. Great acting. Good plot. I was hoping for a bit of a happier ending, but the ending was good. At least it wasn't like all the stupid Hollywood movie endings. I don't know why others didn't like it. Maybe not enough gore or other yucky stuff. LOL. But it has 5 stars from me. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Herminator. I don't know how you pronounce it, but thank you. A Kindle customer gave it 1 star. Disappointed. Disappointed is spelled incorrectly, by the way. I waited forever to see this. What a complete waste of time. Very disappointed. Well, Kindle customer, I'm very disappointed that you're disappointed, and I am sorry that you waited so long for this movie and it was a waste of time. Kind of like this Amazon review was a waste of time. 3 people found this helpful. Okay. Moving along. There's not a lot of these. Crazy Cat 61 gave the movie 2 stars. And I will read this word for word because a lot of these are kind of don't make any sense, to be honest. I tried, it tried, but was a non-starter. Okay. I tried also to watch the movie Some of the acting was okay. Plot is full of holes. I'm sorry, the acting and dialogue stinks. Can you smell acting and dialogue? I don't know. It tried though. Kudos. So, started off a little shaky and came back in the end with a little bit of positivity from Crazy Cat 61. Thank you. Someone named DR. I don't know if that actually is supposed to be Doctor or DR, but DR gave it a 1-star review and says, but then I had to see how bad it would get. All caps, DR says, ouch. It hurt to watch. But then I had to see how bad it would get. Bad decision. It got really bad. One person found this helpful. I'm sorry. I'm very sorry. I did not know how bad it would get for you. Jay Burrow also gave it a 1-star review, and he says, wait until it's free. Well, it is free. You can watch it on Tubi or Amazon Prime if you have Amazon Prime for free. That's spelled T-H-A-S. That's movie is a hot mess. Very disjointed plot and an ending that made no sense. David W. Harding 111. Ghost Witch. I like the old house where they did the paranormal, not paranormal, paranormal. I don't know what that is. Paranormal. Where they did the paranormal team. I also liked the way they brought the past alive from the South on the screen so we can see how they lived when they were young. Great movie. I would buy it again for a great movie. Thank you, David. Alright. Clutch Cargo gave it 1 star. Everyone's giving it 1 star. I think it's worth at least 2 stars, in my personal opinion. He says, written by a 12-year-old. Painful. Couldn't make it to the end. I'm guessing it was produced by the lead's parents. No, it was actually produced by me. I was not the lead. Who else would pay for a film starring a 30-year-old as a 20-something-year-old? It feels like the neighborhood kids playing pretend, and someone left a camera running. Pathetic. This might be my favorite so far, honestly, and I'm sorry that I keep hitting my pop filter. Yes, this is probably my favorite because that was a scathing review, and this person is clearly very angry about something that is unrelated to my movie. I didn't want to edit this, but it looks like I'm going to have to edit. J. A. Gamber, which I think I know this person, gave it 3 stars and says, B-movie film by people who obviously love horror as a genre, which is 100% true. This is a campy B-movie film by people who obviously love horror as a genre. It has all the hallmarks of why low-budget flicks are so much fun to watch. There is some A-class acting, thank you, and some not so much, but throughout the film, it's clear the cast and crew have a deep enthusiasm for what they do, and I adore that. Keep on keeping on, indies. That was a really nice, constructive review. Thank you very much for that, J.A. Gamber. I'm pretty sure I know that person. Next, J. JW. He says, "The dead seek justice." Sometimes the past comes back to haunt you, which I found to be the basis of this story based on actual events. I felt that the actors did an excellent job. This movie was creepy, suspenseful, and scary. Sometimes legends are half-truths, and I found that it's best to leave places with tragic, dark pasts alone. I agree. I agree with you 100%. Thank you for this review. This was not a bad review. It was very insightful and interesting. And another kudos to my actors. The actors are getting, mixed reviews, but mostly positive, I think. C. Pearson gave it 1 star, and his review was very short. Horrible. Couldn't watch. I'm sorry. STCNB gave it 3 stars. He says, worth a look. Not too bad of a paranormal movie. Well written, but acting could have been better. Overall, I'd give her a look. Thanks for giving her a look. Someone named Karen gave it 3 stars, and honestly, because their name is Karen, I was expecting the worst of the worst, but it is not as bad as I thought it was going to be, which I'm somewhat disappointed by. If your name is Karen, then I want you to live up to your namesake. But Karen says, well, for the first hour, nothing happens. I almost shut it off. For some reason, I watched it. Not scary at all. Well, it wasn't a good review. Mace. Someone by the name of Mace, spelled M-A-S-E, gave it 4 stars. And he says, Mace. That's his review. I guess he just wanted to say his name. T.S. gave it 5 stars. He says, fantastic. You could tell this was low budget, but it had a fantastic story. Thank you. I wrote it. I loved the legend telling near the credits, telling us the real legend this was based on. So at the end of the movie, during the end credits, we actually interviewed a lot of locals and asked them about the real urban legend, and so we got a lot of different accounts of what the actual story is. As I was saying earlier, the movie is based on an urban legend that has a bunch of different variations of the story. So we actually asked locals to give us their interpretation of the story, which was pretty cool. An Amazon customer gave it 1 star and says, they changed the legend. It is ashamed that they take the local legend and destroy it by making up a different story. The real story does not. The real story does involve a church, not a house, and the church still stands. Yes, as I said earlier, I am very aware of the church on Seven Toe Road in Araby, Georgia. The movie was based on this church, but it is not a 100% retelling of an accurate story, because there is no accurate story. It is an urban legend. And when you're making movies, you have to take creative liberties sometimes in order to make an entertaining movie. Now, perhaps you did not find the liberties that we took entertaining, but we did not change the story, because there is no one accurate story. It changes depending on who you ask. The one common denominator is the church, But if you've actually been to the church, you would know or understand why it is not feasible to shoot a 2-hour-long movie inside of a church which consists of one room. It would be very boring. But thank you for watching it anyway. Yana Parkerson gave it 1 star. And she says boring with 2 R's. It was so boring that she gave it an additional R. She says it drags on forever. I can see that. It's a very long movie. I think it's 1 hour and 46 minutes. We only have 9 more reviews to go. The movie doesn't have a lot of reviews, so if you would like to watch the movie and give it your own review, that would be awesome. I read all of them. I may make another video if I get enough reviews. I particularly like the ones that are mean, but you should probably just be honest. Pride 2021 gave it 1 star, and his tagline says, "Pink bra sniffing." Only got through 11 minutes of it and was bored out of my ever-loving wits. A pool party, college girls in skimpy bikinis, that's a reason to watch in my opinion. One girl takes a swim and then a bookworm, who is played by Chase Stephen Anderson, ogles her as she climbs out of the pool. There's a side boob shot, that's true, that would have made Peter Griffin go ape. Also probably true. Then she squeezes the excess water out of her bikini in party girl fashion. That particular character was played by Samantha Caitlin. She's a great actress, and I think she actually lives in Atlanta now, and she's doing a lot of cool things. I so lost interest at this point. Then all I remember was the bookworm changing into dry clothes and sniffing a pink bra. Yes, that is a scene in the movie, but you have to watch it. Yawn. Okay, I've had enough. Moving on to the next film. I'm really happy to know that in your 11 minutes of viewing my movie, that the only thing that you got from it was a slow-mo Fast Times at Ridgemont High bikini walk and a bra sniffing scene. Next, Movie Guy gave it 4 stars. Boy meets girl. Boy agrees to have friends who ... Boy meets girl. Boy agrees to have friends who do paranormal investigations to check out a property owned by girl's dad/family. It's found there is an angry ghost, a weird old guy haunting. It could be said this is run-of-the-mill ghost story. I didn't find it scary or suspenseful, but I did find it interesting. Thank you. I'm glad you found it interesting. 2 people found that review helpful. Not to be confused with Movie Guy, which is one word. The Movie Guy gave it 1 star. He says, "I want it back." The backstory is a woman was raped and killed at a home and had 3 toes cut off, which is why her name is Seven Toe Maggie. It was actually a church, not a house. You would know that if you were paying attention. Ghost hunters investigate the house along with young Maddie in a small Georgia town. The acting was poor, especially Oscar in the opening scene, and hopefully Sam will keep his day job. I don't know what Sam's day job is. Sam is Sam Harley. He played the role of Oscar. I thought he did a good job. The sound was uneven between camera switches, and the cameraman, that was me by the way, couldn't properly frame a scene. You're right, I did not know how to properly frame a scene at that point in my career. Frequently cutting off heads, typically at eye level. I'm assuming this person is a cinematographer. They know a lot about cinematography. The pop-eyed fellow was wasted. I don't know who the pop-eyed fellow was. Did we have someone in a Popeye cosplay in the movie? I don't remember that. He could have been creepier. The girls in bikinis were hot. That is an astute observation. Not worth the DVD rental cost. The DVD includes outtakes, deleted scenes, and director commentary. Thank you for including that particular information. 6 people found that review helpful. Nikki gave it 2 stars and says, it was scary, really, and it has really bad acting, so was it scary or not scary? Add another movie that I would never recommend to the list. The plot was boring, and the sister just looked sad. I don't know who the sister was. Not much suspense to go on either, other than the mom's warning about the house being bad or evil. Evil. I can't even remember what she said. Just don't waste your time. Thanks, Nikki. That was great. That was a very useful review. Alice gave it 2 stars and says, predictable, isolated haunted house, paranormal investigators, things go bump in the night, etc. Very predictable. Okay. Khaled gave it 1 star and says, garbage film. Garbage film. They took the time to say garbage film. I may cry. I'm not gonna cry. Big Bubba 3 gave it 5 stars. We had a terrible review, now we have a great review. He says, well done flick. Classic B-movie style. That's what we were going for. I'm glad you liked it. Big Bubba 3. Big Bubba. Batgirl. I'm glad we have celebrities commenting. Batgirl gave it 5 stars, and she says, 5 stars. I really like this movie. Short, but positive. And the final review is a 5-star review from Frankie Karloff. He says 5 stars, and in all caps, he says, enjoyed the movie. I am glad you enjoyed the movie, Frankie Karloff. I am very appreciative that you took the time to watch Ghost Witch. So, that's all the reviews that are currently on Amazon Prime at this moment. Some of them were bad, some of them were kind of humorous, some of them didn't make any sense, and some of them were actually positive. This was my second feature film. I've been making movies since 2008, and it is kind of the career path that I'm following now. And I have another movie, as I said earlier in the video, that's coming out later this year called The Marks. I will leave the links to the trailers for all of these movies in the description below. If you have any questions about my films or filmmaking in general, please be sure to leave them in the comments below. And if you have an hour and 46 minutes free and you don't have anything to do, check out Ghost Witch on Amazon Prime or Tubi and leave a review. Maybe it'll end up in another video just like this one. Thank you guys for checking this video out. Be sure to hit that thumbs up button, like and or subscribe, and I will see you next time.